So on this page is Helene Burley and Simon McGoldrick, two at the time well-known players of Bushiroad games. Right, she was a famous Kagura player, and he was known for being probably one of the best players in the world. Why am I bringing this up randomly in the whole thing? Because because based on what Bushiroad did, this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back for a lot of people. Today, right now, today, they may have finally added another straw to the camel that if it doesn't break their back, it gets close to it. I mean this Western-wise, but also this might have some implications for Japan as well. We'll talk about it. But why do I bring these two up? Because these were two of the biggest names in competitive card Vanguard. And in 2018, they both were banned for actions of cheating during, as the screen says right here, in light of the evidence presented in the form of a video showing a player cheating during the 2015 European Continental Finals, we have decided to take action against this infraction. Despite the incident taking place 2 years ago, I know this is 2018, but it was so close it might as well be two years ago, we do not tolerate any form of cheating behaviors. As such, the player in question will be dealt with the following penalties. Banned from taking part in organized tournaments with effective immediately till December 21st, 2019. This includes all Bushiroad games, but is not applied to shop tournaments, as well as the termination of judge certification. We have noticed several harassment incidents happening with regards to this issue and would like to urge the community to refrain from carrying out any form of harassment, as we do not condone such acts with the community. Such incidents arise again, we encourage the community to report these to Bushiroad and to not take matters in their own hands. I want you to understand what they're saying here, because it's very important to what I'm about to tell you today. Despite it taking place 2 years ago, 7/5/2018, the BWC 2015 European Continental Finals was 2 years prior to this. This person in the fight against this person, which was the finals of that match, scooped the heel, and he knew about it, and didn't let it go, and let it go. In a way, not only did she cheat, this nigga caused an incident. And 2 years after the fact, they finally shot them. I'm sorry if I'm getting loud. I'll change the audio settings, whatever. But this is important, because Bushiroad stood on business right there. Even 2 years after the fact, two of their biggest names in the community got them out of here. They're gone. They were gone. Also note, during BRO 2022, that a player suspected of cheating during the Swiss rounds. And guess what they did? Banned him from taking part immediate effect until 2023. Annulment of tournament ranking, placement, recall of prizes, and rescinding of World's invitation from 2022 onwards. They cannot go to Worlds anymore. Bushiroad takes all cases of cheating and misconduct during tournaments seriously. We will not hesitate to take action to ensure the integrity of our tournaments and to ensure a fair and enjoyable tournament for all of our players. Should such incidents arise, we encourage the community to report these to us via email at support.bushiroad.com. BRO! Player was banned. That was 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago. We ain't probably going to have a BRO this year. Let's go back to 2020. At 2020, when they announced this, an incident during the recent Bushiroad Championship Series 2019 Malaysia Regional has come to our attention, where a player tore apart the award certificate and shared the action on social media. We viewed this as disrespecting the game and other players who took part in the tournament and falls under Section 3.83, Severe Unsportsmanlike Conduct in the Bushiroad 4 Rules Penalty Guide. As the player in question is clearly aware of his actions and is unrepentant, we have decided to take action against him to maintain a healthy tournament experience for all other players. Banned! Effective immediately till 2022 January. This includes all Bushiroad games, but does not apply to shop tournaments. Run players treat each other with dignity and respect, and that any instance of poor sportsmanship or conduct can result in further action. Somebody didn't even cheat. They ripped their shit and got banned. Excuse my language, but I'm really pissed off. And let's bring up the thing. Vanguard Zero, when that game was still alive, banned 157 user accounts from the game for cheating. Whether or not the event was because they were using some third party to farm or actually actively cheating, don't know. But the point is, they still got them out of here. Vanguard Zero is gone. Maybe this is probably one of the reasons, but also the fact that they still stood on business for every single. Guess what knows this? Every single event here, Bushiroad in the West, globally, stood on business. Got people who abused the system, got people who disrespected the integrity of the game, the care of the game, the nature of the game, and got them out of here. What you should be doing as a competitive tournament organizer. Which brings me to today, where after pretty much nothing really going on negatively. Okay, that's not true. I mean, in terms of the competitive aspect. Because because we all know about the issue with the $20 start decks. I made a video on them. We all talked about the NFT stuff in whatchamacallit, the Lyrical Monsterio set that basically made that set let that set kind of die, and then now we're almost coming into set 5 for Lyrical, and that set requires the cards that were in that previous set with the NFTs that people didn't want. Now those cards are going up in price. The Bushiroad in globally hasn't exactly been. Oh, let's not forget the mask set that was effectively useless because they reprinted the mask in main sets right after, so there's no communication of whether or not this is a good idea. Not to mention that stuff was immediately overpriced, as well as the premium deck set, which, while I'll admit, hey, you know what, that was an idea that they wanted to do, it was just too overpriced for getting people into the game, and it's just there. Basically, what I'm saying is Bushiroad globally ain't exactly had a good track record. And I'm not really talking about Japan, because this doesn't matter to Japan. What does matter is what they released today, prior to basically the Tuesday stream that always goes on. They dropped this announcement regarding Bushiroad Championship Series 2023 World Finals. We have been made aware of a case of repeated improper shuffling at the recently concluded Bushiroad Championship Series 2023 World Finals, and we would like to apologize for not realizing it during the tournament. Okay, fine, solid start. It's hey, listen, we were made aware this happened 2 months ago. We'd like to apologize if we were there. We did an investigation. While such an incident would warrant a penalty during the tournament, We will not be imposing any further penalties, as the issue was only discovered after the tournament had concluded. We will be taking measures to improve our oversight in tournaments and avoid a recurrence. We would also like to remind all players that as decks are a non-public area, care should be taken when shuffling to avoid confirmation from being visible to any player. We kindly thank you for your support and understanding on this matter. So, you're probably wondering, well, if it was like an issue with shuffling, what does it matter? Well, for one, just in any game, shuffling is pretty much important because that leads to potential deck stacking. That means cheating, right? And when you're at a point of, when you're in an issue like that in the World Finals, the tournament that decides the World Championship for all these games, Weiss, Shadowverse, and Vanguard, the three main Bushiroad games as of right now. In the West, that means something. It's not it's not just a European finals. It's not just a regular Spring Fest. It's not just a BRO. It's not just Vanguard Zero. It's not just BCS. It's the World Finals. Everyone that knows competitive card games or knows Card by Vanguard, Weiss Schwartz, Shadowverse, Buddy Fight, RIP, Luck and Logic, Dragoborn, anyone who cares about those games and wants to watch them and has time to watch them will appear and watch this. Please let that know. That is an important thing. So when you are saying basically, when we don't know, while normally it would be a penalty during the tournament because it's been 2 months only after his career. The World Finals was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Everybody flew to Japan. Like, that's a different thing too. It's like the whole point of winning BCS is to fly to Japan and go there, especially for Westerners in North America and Europe. That's the biggest point. Like, the whole, arguably, the tournament kind of comes secondary to some people. That it's like, I want to just get a trip to Japan. Like, if I fumble the tournament spot, but there's still a level of integrity that still has to be conducted. Saying there won't be a penalty, as I'm probably hiding it, they will not impose any penalties since it was only discovered after the tournament was concluded, is a problem for one. Secondly, we know who the cheater was. Kai knows who the cheater was. He's got the information right here. He has a giant thread, and I'm going to talk about the thread in a second, but we know who it is. The person in question is Man Long, who has made multiple tops, culminating in a second place finish at Worlds for B. In the next post, you can read my investigation, and he has a whole giant investigation. I'll post it in the comments, but you can read it. But he has a whole Google Doc showing every time he did something at a recorded event, which this is a 14-page document with multiple pictures, with multiple copies of when it happens, timestamps, events, and whatnot. So this is not just a one-time thing and things are just kind of awkward. Indonesia, he has information from Indonesia in the finals there. He's got so much information. He's still piling all this up. This is a caster saying this is a recorded, repeated offender, and they let them go. They let them go. They let them go. She just put a heel to hand one time. Shot her and Simon for 2 years. 3 years after the fact. Someone got banned for a whole year and a half from Bushiroad games and lost any chance of getting placements. Someone got banned for a year from both versions of the game. Keep in mind, 157 players got sent to the gulag in Vanguard Zero. But a repeated cheater gets away with it scot-free at the world stage. If this any other game, they would have dropped the formula cannon on this brother. If this was any other game, they would have sent him to the Shadow Realm. They would have hit them with the Avada Kedavra. Just gone. You will not participate in our game anymore. You will not participate in any game we work in anymore. We have recorded evidence that you have been cheating. You have been a disdain on the community. And you should be gone. Don't touch this game no more. Don't touch any of these games no more. Go kick rocks down the street. But no, the World Finals. The World Finals where people who enjoy card games, who enjoy Bushiroad games, all got cheated. And that's not even to talk about the fact that this event happened in V specifically, which is already having issues of people wanting to play the game. So already, not the cheaters in the V. Oh no! Oh God! But that's also not a question. If someone cheated in there, how many people probably cheated in any other thing and were let go and let scot-free? You would, by not making an example of this man. Right? Think about that. The quote-unquote world top-ranked female player got hit 3 years after. Not only got hit 3 years after that event, for 2 years. Not only did someone get shot as early as August 2022, right? Think about that. Also, 3 years. This was 2 months ago. Nothing. This is the worst decision Bushiroad has done. And I say that it's pretty much the straw that might break the camel's back is because when we've got terrible start decks. We have a critical piece that is required to play competitive card by Vanguard now. That is stuck behind these terrible start decks. That the secondary market price is going to get scalped to high heaven until they get rearranged. When you have expensive staples with weird reprint timings that just kind of make it hard for people who want to get into the game and want to keep playing the game. Now you have an event where someone cheated at the world stage. You know about it. You have visual information. Kai probably sent this document. It's probably sent this document as we speak with all the information all the details about not just this, but the issues in Indonesia as well. Combine that, nothing. What this does, it means that now, if people could just cheat and get away with it, what's the point of playing? What's the point of competing at the highest level? What's the point of wanting to play competitive card by Vanguard anymore? If I'm just going to get cheesed out by a cheater who makes second place, a repeated cheater who makes second place, or anyone else for that matter. Remember, most of these people can now still compete, can now technically come back to playing competitive Vanguard now. Well, they probably know. right? It's usually like if you're banned for like a thing, unless you really love the game, and that was just like a freak thing, and you've actually tried to repent, which apparently this guy didn't, uh, you probably will come back. If you like the game long enough, you'll probably come back. But what does this do? They're just let away scot free and just not able to play. This is terrible. You gotta reverse this ruling and ban him. I need to see an example of this brother. If he's got a 14-page document on his cheating by one of the biggest content creators in the Vanguard space, which doesn't even get to the whole point of all the other content creators who basically are like, oh wow, this is great. Let's see, Michael Seekers, Living Proof, Derek Dow, Vices, K, Ty, Sage, Trinity. Like, do you not understand this? No one is fucking with this thing except for some ops who definitely are too busy sucking the slong of the person. Excuse my French, but that's the way I see it. This is my one. I wanted to come back and make a cool video. Like I have like a couple videos planned. I've still got a Divines review going. I still got the Wilderness Season 3 review going. But it really is just like every time I want to do something positive to elevate this game, Bushiroad themselves doesn't put in the effort to actually keep the game stable and strong. Instead, they let shit like this happen constantly. They have $15. They increase the price of the start decks to become trial decks with vanilla cards that don't do anything, that don't teach people the game, that don't do anything but have 4 cards of a boss you ain't gonna use once Divine Set 1 drops. And you're gonna have an energy marker that is now being required and has not been printed in Japan. They had to whore out now in Akina. They had to whore out now in Akina to sell the rest of the stock in Japan for these trial decks, and they were $7. If Japan could get rid of them for $7 trial decks and had to hoe their characters out, what the hell is going to happen here in the West, where we can barely get product in? You tell me the one time the new product comes in, nobody wants it? It's embarrassing. And I can't keep doing this, bro. You know, like, some of my friends are probably... I keep thinking, like, you know, some of my friends are probably right to get out when they did. Right? I keep on having that negative feeling that, you know what? Some of my friends are actually right of just dipping from this game. Of just like, you know what? I'm going to go play Digimon. I'm going to play Bowser's Saga. I'm going to play literally anything else. Like, I want Vanguard. I want any of these games. Shadowburst. Right, this also affects Shadowburst and Weiss. Because now it's like, well, if Vanguard's let go, then Shadowburst and Weiss might be fair game too. I mean, Shadowburst is new, and no one really plays Weiss competitively like that from the outside looking in. I'm not saying that competitive Weiss players ain't actually out here grinding, but you get what I mean. So it's just... like, I want Vanguard to be a place where everyone can come in, whether they are new or they're returning. They want to come back. They're like, you know what? I miss this game. I want to come back. I want to have the ability to come back and play the game again. But every single time, I think they're making steps towards improving. Right? We just had the product stream a couple days ago where they made a lot of reprints and cards that were hard to get in Japan much more accessible here. That's a great thing. We're getting more tournament support. We're getting more local support. That's a great thing. But what does local support matter when the World Championship has been scarred? That's my video. My only statement to Bushiroad is just ban him. When Kai drops this, you're there, ban him. There's no point in keeping this up. You gotta keep the integrity of the competitive scene intact. Otherwise, otherwise these games will just be jokes on a world stage. And in a era where there are 18,000 card games, where you came out as 11th place on the recent list for monetary value for the year, the fiscal year, where Build Divide and Digimon are catching up to you, where Bandai is basically trying to make sure all their games are simultaneous releases now. Like, you can't allow this to happen. You can't. You don't have the room. You don't have the ability. Maybe back in 2018, where there were basically like 5 card games on the market, you could get away with this because there's only like so many places you can go. And I'm guarantee you there's probably like a meta where Yu-Gi-Oh! Was just like too expensive to get back in. There's probably a meta where Magic's too expensive to go back in. Pokemon really wasn't popping like that back then. Like, you could get away with that then, but you stood on business and you banned the player. And you banned the players and you kept doing it. You stood on your business and banned so many players who disrupted the competitive integrity. But a serial cheater got away with it at the World Finals is the last straw for a lot of people. You can't do that. So please just say, hey, I don't care if it's tomorrow, I don't care if it's next week, but at least within the month, I want their head on the desk. I want them banned. I want them gone. If nothing else, because then the competitive integrity of the game and games, remind you, will be stable. They gotta go. And speaking of going, I'm out too. I've been rambling for 30 minutes. I'm not gonna edit this. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna subscribe. Peace.